Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing great and have had a great week and that you're raring to go for some more great writerly advice. You are, aren't you? I know you are. That's why you're here. Anyway, I have done a lot of videos lately on villains in crime fiction, male and female villains and how to portray them differently, and last week's video about the classic villain tropes. And guess what, today I'm going to do yet another video on villains, but this one is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be with emerging or modern tropes for the villain in your story. There might be a little bit of overlap between and similarities between them, but there's also important differences which we will be getting into a little bit today. So, let's get right down to the business and the topic of this video. Starting with, as always, number one, wait for it, the digital puppeteer. This villain could be a hacker, or a social media influencer, or any other type of online mastermind who manipulates information to control people's perceptions. This works because, as you no doubt know, we are in an age of deepfakes and AI videos, data breaches, and the concern about whether AI will take our jobs, replace humans in our jobs, and also replace us as a dominant species. That is, of course, assuming you can call AI a species, but I'm sure you get the point. In this type of story, truth itself becomes the battlefield as everybody decides what is real. Is this fake or is this, well, who knows? What is real and what isn't? Well, a twist on this would be maybe that person's motive isn't necessarily money. They do it simply because they can and, well, because they want to see what happens when trust collapses in society. Number two, the moral crusader. This person commits crimes to expose corruption, hypocrisy, injustice, or anything else that might be wrong with society. But they do it using horrific means, like inflicting pain on someone to get a confession. This works because they see themselves as a hero, and the victims deserve whatever they get. To get all twisty on this, perhaps make their logic start to make sense, and this forces the reader and the protagonist to question their own principles, maybe. Number three, the social chameleon. This criminal can blend into any environment. He's as much at home with the blue-collar workers as he is with the Wall Street bankers or any type like that who wears the $1,000 suits. You know, those kind who thinks they're all that and a bag of chips or healthy snacks, or maybe. This person's a master of mimicry, charm, and lies. This works because often in real life, how much do we really know about the people we work with, or our neighbors who may very well be nice or not so nice? We don't know. Because you never know who around you might be hiding some dark secrets. The twist to this idea is that they aren't motivated by greed or any of the other traditional motivations by criminals and villains. They do it because they are addicted to the thrill of deception, to see how long they can go without being discovered. Number four, the systemic villain. This isn't a single person or entity. The villain can be a tech company, bureaucracy, or government, or anything that would have power over people and society. A villain like this works because your detective or hero or whoever the case may be isn't fighting a single person. They're fighting a hydra. When one person's or head or whatever is cut off, two more pop up, ready to chow down on all the innocent people. Figuratively or literally, maybe. But for the twist on this, you can still put a human face on it. It will be someone who truly believes that the system's cruelty is necessary, perhaps for the greater good or something along those lines to keep everybody in line. Number five, the empathic killer. This villain deeply understands their victims' emotions and uses that insight to manipulate them and get them wrapped around their finger. And eventually, they use this to destroy them. In this scenario, emotional intelligence becomes the weapon, not necessarily the traditional weapons, at least to start. Anyway, you can perhaps make this villain target his victims not out of hate, but out of a twisted logic to free them from their suffering. 6. The legacy villain. This one is following in the footsteps of a previous criminal. Maybe they are a copycat or a descendant of or simply an admirer of a famous serial killer or whatever the case may be in the original criminal. A lot of them do get their fan mail and have groupies. Twisted people. Anyway, in this story, you're almost blending nostalgia and horror where the past refuses to stay buried. Your twist on this is the original might not have been as bad as history made them out to be, but the imitator comes along and wanting them to put themselves in the history books takes matters to further extremes that the other person originally didn't. Number 7, the AI or algorithmic villain. I'm not necessarily saying you need to do a ripoff of the Terminator movies and have killer robots lurking around whacking people, but you can have an artificial intelligence of some kind whose logic causes devastating human consequences. The enemy can't be reasoned with. It just keeps going and going and going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. And no single person is truly to blame. You can make this scarier by having it so the AI isn't malfunctioning. It's simply following its programming too closely, and, well, things go bad to worse and further still. Number 8, the victim turned predator, also known as the vigilante. This could also be an anti-hero like my character Melissa in my Catch or Be Caught Vigilante Justice series. This person survived a traumatic, violent crime, and the person they blamed for it got off on a technicality, or maybe they went into witness protection. And now the victim takes the law into their own hands. This works because the reader might sympathize with the victim who's now a criminal and their pain and reasoning, even if they are using very horrific methods to get their point across. To get a twist on this one, maybe the original perpetrator ended up being innocent, and the new predator's trauma twisted their perception of the truth. Could be. Number 9. The manipulative healer. No doubt you've seen self-help books in the bookstore, and you've seen videos on them and self-help videos here on YouTube. This villain is someone like that. A therapist or spiritual guru who uses trust and vulnerability to control and exploit their followers. Maybe they get them to commit crimes for them, doing a thing like a Robin Hood type thing, rob from the rich and give to the poor. Maybe. Or you can also make this work because it exploits the modern day hunger for healing and belonging. To get a twist into this, in the villain's minds, they believe they are truly helping people, even though their methods are destroying people's lives. Number 10. The final one. The vanishing villain. This is the phantom presence in the story. The villain who commits crimes without ever being seen or identified. A villain could be a lot of fun to write. This villain could be anyway, because this villain keeps the reader and the protagonist detective off balance as they are trying to figure out who did the dirty deeds, although not necessarily done cheap. A really cool way to do this is, maybe the villain doesn't exist as one person. Maybe it's the algorithmic villain. Maybe the crimes are orchestrated by different people who may or may not be connected to each other. They could simply inspire each other to do the crimes. Kind of like a copycat, one like the legacy villain in a way. But anyway, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it helped you with your own writing. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and I will see you in 7 days. So long, everybody.